Donahue. But Bates able to hold on, and he'll spin it behind the cage. Stinnell looking for the Michigan goal.
No,
he fires. He scores! Wow!
Mikkel Stinnell, a Michigan goal, as you just saw. What a play by Stinnell, taking it behind the net, getting it up on his stick, and putting it in for the always special Michigan goal for the Wichita Thunder. Wichita, though, despite that being a great play by Stinnell, he did have 2 goals in that game, did have a rough weekend in Boise, Idaho against the Steelheads. They lost 8-2 on Wednesday. The game that Stinnell had that Michigan goal in, they had a 4-5 overtime loss. And then finally in game 3, a 4-3 loss to the Steelheads. So close in those last 2 games, but when you start off a 3-game set, losing 8-2, that can be a big morale boost for one team, and on the other side, that can really hurt. So big time for Idaho this week getting that win, but also good job, big goal by the Wichita Thunder's Mikkel Stinnell. Some scores from around the league this week, very crazy week. Maine Mariners and Norfolk Admirals played a 3-game series at the Scope in Norfolk, Virginia. 4-2, 5-0 wins for the Admirals. Now looking for the sweeping game 3, unable to get it. A comeback win for the Mariners. 4-3 overtime win for Maine. Big time for the Admirals, though. The way they started last season, just 1-11 through their first 12 games. They have started a lot better this season, building on that with a new team, almost kind of in that rebuild stage. But you really can't tell. 5-0. That's offense that they did not have last year for a majority of their season. So impressive right now by the Norfolk Admirals. Also, the Newfoundland Growlers and Trois-Rivières Lions. This was in last week's top 5 games. Wow. Trois-Rivières blew away the Growlers. I expected this to be a close series, but it was not. 3-game sweep for the Trois-Rivières Lions. 4-1, 5-2, and then 2-1 on Sunday afternoon. But man, Growlers, this was their first road test of the season. You think they could handle it, but oh no, they got tossed around. Also, speaking of toss, teddy bear toss for the Lions in one of those 3 games. Also, undefeated Kansas City is undefeated no more. 8-4 win for the Rapid City Rush. That coming on the road for the Rush. Big time win. The Mavericks, yes. Did they push around the Rush this week? Yes. But what a response from Rapid City getting an 8-4 win. Kansas City has had a great defense this year so far, but to score 8 goals on that, amazing job by Rapid City this week. Now, no 5 games of the week. This episode, we're going to talk about the 3 teams that I have been impressed with, 3 teams I've been not so impressed with. We'll start with the only undefeated team left in the league, Atlanta Gladiators, 6-0 right now. These aren't just your normal run-of-the-mill wins. Greenville, Jacksonville, big-time wins that Atlanta is getting. Big time wins for Atlanta. 6-0 we said 2 weeks ago against the Allen Americans. They are having some great offensive output. New head coach, former Gladiator himself, Derek Nesbitt, the bench boss this year for Atlanta, and they just hit the ground running so far. Undefeated, first place in their conference. What a start for the Atlanta Gladiators. 2 more teams I've been impressed with, the Trois-Rivières Lions. They're 7-1. We just talked about them, a 3-game sweep of the Newfoundland Growlers. 7-1 for a team, again, with a new head coach, Ron Scholes, for the Trois-Rivières Lions. And 2 first-year head coaches in Atlanta and Trois-Rivières are just impressing everybody right now with just the massive early season wins. Also, can't forget about the Kansas City Mavericks, 7-1 right now as well. Yes, they took that loss to Rapid City, but boy, have they been good in the early season. Now, 72-game regular season schedule, so got to keep this up. Early going, though, looking great for these 3 teams. Now let's talk about some teams that have struggled early. The Iowa Heartlanders, the only winless team in the league right now, coming in at 0-4. That's 7th place in the Central Division. Iowa fans, you guys have not made the playoffs last 2 seasons that you guys have been an ECHL franchise. high expectations for this year, with a second-year head coach for the Heartlanders looking to get started just early in the season, only 4 games in. I think Iowa still has that ability to turn it around. Another team that I have not been impressed with, the Allen Americans, a playoff team from last year, just 2-4 on the early going. But that Mountain Division is always close. Allen has that big fan base, the Rink of Red, they call it at home. I expect Allen, though, to be able to turn this around coming in to the later parts of the season and here in the later part of 2023. And the last team, the Reading Royals. Very surprised with these guys so far. Just 1-7 in their first 8 games. Reading, the playoff streak at several seasons now, but last year that loss to the Newfoundland Growlers in the second round. What are they going to do now? You kind of got knocked down. Can they get back up? 1-7 to start the season. We will see what happens to the Reading Royals. I think they will be able to turn it around, though, in that North Division. Well, we have a special treat for you now this week for our Fights of the Week. Thanks to the Fort Wayne Komets for releasing a ref cam of their opening night game against the Indy Fuel. So check out this fight as well as another clip from the Fort Wayne Komets. Thank you to them. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next week on the ECHL Insider.
No way. No way. That's a dive. It's a dive. Let's go, fellas. Hey, give him room. Give him room. Give him room here.